Welcome to 2minenglish.com, teaching you English through 2-minute lessons.
This lesson will help you learn about the present tense.
Hello, dear learner. Today we are going to learn about the present tense. Present tense is one of 3 basic verb forms of English. It is used for any action or event taking place at present or right now. You can improve your pronunciation by pausing the lesson and repeating the sentences you hear. Make sure you listen to the vocabulary section at the end and improve your word power. Let's get started now.
Hello, Andrea. Today's lesson is about present tense and how to apply present tense to verbs.
Hello, Ellie. If I'm right, the present tense of a verb shows what's happening now in the present.
You're absolutely right, Andrea. The present tense talks about what's happening now.
Can you tell us how verbs are modified to show present tense?
Whenever you're talking about yourself or the person you're speaking to, the verb doesn't change. Just use it as it is. For example, I drink tea. You drink coffee. Here, drink is the verb, and it's not modified for present tense. This is true for both singular and plural forms.
We all drink coffee is correct when I talk about many people because it includes me. Talk is a verb in present tense that I use when I said I talk.
So when the subject is I, you, or we, the present tense of the verb is just the verb with no change. When talking about a single or other person or object, though we usually add an S to the verb, in general, verbs that end in the S are singular verbs.
Isn't that the opposite of the way nouns work?
Yes, it is. Nouns form plurals by adding S on the end, but verbs with an S on the end are singular. My daughter loves swimming. Here, love is the verb modified to loves because I'm talking about my daughter.
Then plural verbs don't have an S on the end, right?
That's right. I want to give my parents something special on their 30th anniversary. I want to show them how important they are to me. Want is a present tense verb.
Remember that with I and you and we, the verb sounds like a plural verb because it doesn't have an S on the end. I suggest you give them a homemade gift. My parents love things like that. In this case, love is a plural verb to go with the plural subject of parents.
I'll think about it. Your husband practices law, doesn't he?
Yes, he works for a small law firm.
Practices and works are singular verbs in present tense in our sentences. We can tell they're singular verbs because they end with an S. We use singular verbs because the subject of the sentence is singular, and not I or you or we.
Is that all about present tense?
Just one last point. We've been talking about regular verbs, those that form the present tense or form plurals all the same way. English also has irregular verbs. A common example is the verb to be. Its present tenses are is, are, and am. I am, you, and we, and they are, and he, she, or it is.
Let's listen to some sample conversations now.
Andrea, you cook so well.
Thank you. I especially enjoy cooking Italian food.
Great. My wife cooks Italian food too, but she doesn't know how to cook pasta. Can you teach her?
Sure. I love cooking and I can teach her how.
Thanks, Andrea. I cook too, but I like cooking Mexican food.
My husband prefers Mexican, but he eats Italian food too.
Hey, Marshall, are you planning a trip for the weekend?
No, we need to stay home. I wish I could go on a trip.
We could go next weekend. Just rent a car and go to the seaside and have fun.
You should invite Max and Andrea too. They love seaside trips.
Daisy, do you paint pictures of people?
I like painting people, but I feel like I'm not so good at it. Ted paint people better, and I paint landscapes better. But we both paint very well.
Practice makes perfect. I hope you keep trying.
I will. I want to be a professional artist one day.
I know you'll succeed. The art teacher says you're very good.
Modify. To modify means to make changes for it. For example, You might want to modify the look of your room when you get bored with it.
Homemade. Something that is made or prepared at home. It involves the maker's own efforts. Don't we all like eating homemade cakes? Professional. A professional is someone who has skills and makes use of those skills to earn a livelihood. You may be a doctor or an actor by profession.
Prefer. Prefer means to choose something instead of something else. It also means to like something better in comparison to another thing. Many people prefer coffee to tea, but some people prefer tea over coffee.
Impromptu. Impromptu means sudden or unplanned. When you decide to do something without any pre-planning, it's called impromptu. You might take an impromptu trip, go for an impromptu movie, or sing an impromptu song.
Did you have fun learning? I'm sure you did. We've got many more lessons coming up for you. Check again tomorrow and let's get really fluent in English. Bye-bye!